All right, in today's video, we are going to be talking about tips in order to accomplish your fitness goals for 2022. Given that we're, halfway through January, but just got over a lockdown.
Yep.
I feel like we're actually kind of starting to pick up. Parents have their kids going back to school today, so we are going to put this out today. 7 tips. This is what I do, not necessarily what other people may or may not want to do, but I feel like this is what's effective for me when I'm actually in the zone and it's time for me to buckle down and start taking my health and nutrition very serious. And I want to really not necessarily become a little healthier. I mean physically change what I look like. These tips are not exactly to just change your health a little bit. These are tips if you really want to take your health and fitness serious, change what you look like, change your, body recomposition, things like that. So
let's hear it.
Yeah. Number 1, I set realistic expectations. I know what I'm capable of. It's very important for you to set realistic expectations so that you don't become discouraged and unmotivated, because I find when you're setting unrealistic expectations, especially in health and fitness, it's one thing to, maybe set big goals in with respect to, financial goals and business goals, things like that. Because if you're a decently smart person, it doesn't really matter, your genetics, right? So some people just don't have the genetics in order to maybe get down to 4% body fat or 5% body fat, or they got to borderline kill themselves to get there. So, and then the problem too that I see is a lot of people look on Instagram, they're like, look at these guys. They don't realize how much drugs these guys are taking, or women are taking. Even women too. Yes, women take drugs. So they have an unrealistic expectation of what they can look like and what certain body types are and how specific body types react to certain diets and also react to weight training, and if their body type would even allow them to get lower into a lower body fat percentage, or if their body type would allow them to gain muscle mass. So it's very important to have realistic expectations. So for me, for example, I know when I'm really into it and really into the zone, I can take my diet extremely serious. I don't have, I go weeks without cheating, and I stick to a very strict regimen. I'm in the gym every day. I'm doing the cardio every day. So I know what I'm capable of when I really want it. Some people just aren't capable of getting that strict. So it's really important to manage expectations for yourself so you don't become, overwhelmed. And, when you become overwhelmed, you become unmotivated. And then, next thing you know, you're
just falling out of the habit.
Yeah, you're just discouraged, and it's a crapshoot from that. Number 2, create a realistic routine. So I find when I create a realistic routine, and it's structured, it's much more easy for me to really get in the zone, right? When dieting and working out becomes a chore, like an extra chore where, my schedule's all over the place. I don't know where my next meal's coming from.
So when you say routine, are you referring to the workout routine, the exercise that you do, or everything surrounding just
both
workout schedule and nutrition?
So both. So my workout routine, especially but especially when I'm dieting, the workout routine doesn't really matter so much to me. As long as I'm getting it in, it's fine. It's the diet that's more important,
We forgot to mention that CanadianProtein.com now has a personalized nutrition calculator where you can find out exactly how many calories, proteins, carbohydrates, and fats you should be having per day in order to help you accomplish your fitness goals. You can find the link in the description below.
So I have to make sure that I'm eating the same time every day. This pretty close to the same foods, very similar foods. I like to get in a very, very consistent routine. I'm buying the same kind of foods, every week. I know exactly what to eat. I find that's a lot easier on me. I have so many things going on, and diets are so complex that if I don't try to make it simple for myself.
Yeah, you try simplifying it as much as you can.
I simplify as much as possible to the point. A lot of people are going to find this gross. I blend my chicken in all my food. So but not all of it. So to give people an example, I'll come to work and I've got a couple shakers with a chicken breast in each shaker, broccoli, and all of my food for that.
And sometimes it's barbecue flavored.
Yeah, sometimes I'll have to use barbecue flavored chicken or like spices on the chicken because I ran out of like the unspiced chicken or whatever, like the you know what I'm talking about, unseasoned chicken.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not.
And yes, they look disgusting.
Yeah, it is. It's not the best tasting thing ever.
But it works for you because you just grab it and go.
Exactly, because it's consistent, it's quick. I don't have time and I don't want to make the time to cook. I don't put that much, emphasis on sitting there and enjoying my food unless it's something I really enjoy. And the diet food, I don't necessarily enjoy. And a lot of people are going to argue with me and say, well, why not make your diet enjoyable? I've heard this argument multiple times. The food that I really like is not good. And it's not diet food. So I have that food during cheat meals or whatever, right? So, chicken or like that kind of stuff, like I've had chicken so many times in so many different ways, and fish and all the stuff that's considered like clean eating and stuff like that. It's just, there's only so many things that I'm even willing to do to make that enjoyable. So I have chicken, I blend it up and make it simplistic where I chug down the shake and it works for me. I get all my nutrients. I arguably get more nutrients from actually blending my food because I can throw so many more vegetables that I ordinarily wouldn't eat into my shake. So I'm, arguably healthier. I'm eating healthier. But again, do whatever makes things easier for you so that you can maintain consistency, so that you can get into a routine. And when you're into a routine, the diet and the workout structure and things like that will be so much more easier for you. So for us, we typically work out in the AM because, over and above a certain time in the morning, things start blowing up for us. We have to focus on other things. And even when we go too late, which we have been for the beginning of the year, over past 9 o'clock, even 8:30, things start really kind of like snowballing for me. So get into a routine that allows you to be consistent, and that will significantly help your ability to accomplish your fitness goals. Number 3, this is kind of interesting. I don't do it so much anymore, simply because I don't need to do it anymore. I've kind of developed enough self-control for myself that I don't have to do this, but throw away or get rid of anything in your house that doesn't fit your diet or is unhealthy. Pop, candy.
Because when you're feeling like motivated and you're feeling like you're ready to tackle all those goals, choosing not to eat those things is easy. Yeah. But when it's like the middle of the night and you've been working all day and you're exhausted and you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, you had a bad day. You need that fucking dopamine shot. Like it's going to be way easier for you to cheat and fall off your diet. And the problem is like a lot of people don't really realize it takes a long time, especially if you have been. Now we're getting a little bit technical, but nonetheless, I think it's very important for people to actually understand these kind of points. If you have had like a not very good diet, you've been eating a lot of carbs, a lot of sugar, especially over the holidays. One of the issues with that is your insulin response has been like desensitized. You essentially like, so for me, when I actually started diet, and I know I've been like eating really bad, I will fast for 24 hours. That at least gives my body, even though I am my body type, I'm able to deal with high amounts of sugar and things like that. I'm an ectomorph, by nature. So I'm able to handle it. A lot of people, they can't handle that.
Right.
So they're completely desensitized to, their insulin response, carbohydrates, things like that. So what ends up happening is it'll take them so much longer to become, to see results from eating very clean because they're so desensitized to that. So what I do when I start typically is I'll diet or I'll fast for 24 hours. It kind of resets. It's almost kind of like a reset. It's not a full reset. And then when I'm like, if I'm really doing this, like where, you know, like the cover picture on like the thumbnail on the video here, to get to that level, what I did in the first 2 weeks of that, what I did was I fasted for 24 hours and I did keto for the first 2 weeks. So I didn't have a carb, you know, negligible, right?
Right.
You know, fiber, things like that. Yeah.
Things like that. Yeah.
For 2 weeks, I didn't have anything because I need to reset my insulin response. Everything needs to be reset. My hormone levels are all out of whack. When you're eating, when you are not eating clean and you're having, you know, you don't even need to have too many carbs in your diet. If you're just not eating the right type of carbs, you're eating candy all over the place, this and that, your hormones are all over the fucking map. Your insulin, your other hormones, you know, testosterone, you know, estrogen, all that kind of stuff. It's all fucked up. So you reset it, you get everything to, you know, arguably baselines or whatever, like your normal hormone levels. That's how I started my diet. If I'm going to be taking things really serious and I want to say like, you know, cut up in 12 weeks, that's what I would typically do. This diet, I'm probably going to do a 16-weeker because I want to throw in some cheat meals here and there a little bit more often than my previous diet, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm not necessarily going to do the whole keto for 2 weeks. I'm going to be doing the 24-hour fast probably, and then I'll probably even fast maybe even once a day or once a week. So also in that previous diet, what I would do is every Monday, I would also fast.
Yeah.
So that allowed me to really even reset. And especially if I had a cheat meal, I'd fast after the cheat meal the next day. So these are just little things where if you really want to get serious, there's so many nuances to like actually take your body to the next level. This isn't taking your body to the next level, but this gives people kind of like an insight of what needs to be done in order to take it to the next level. And the first step I feel is get rid of fucking shit in your house. That's really going to
tempt you.
Yeah, tempt you and not allow you to stay consistent with your diet. That's a big thing I feel. Number 4, start simple and gradually progress. So what a lot of people will do when they first hop on a diet, it's like, boom, cut everything out.
Yeah.
Right? I can do that, like what we just mentioned in the third one, right? Where I can fast for 2 weeks, or not fast for 2 weeks, but, you know, fast for a day, keto for 2 weeks. You know, I can do that. That's part of number 1, set realistic expectations. I know what I'm capable of.
Yeah.
That's not a lot of people probably aren't capable of doing that. This might be their first time dieting. It's simple as, you know, maybe this week you're cutting out pop, right? Just get rid of your pop. Next week, maybe you're not having like that chocolate bar when you get home. Maybe next week you're cutting out beer. Maybe you're going to switch to a vodka water instead. I don't know, right? Yeah, something with a little less calories or whatever, right? So gradually progress. The issue with people when they start and throw everything at themselves, like including the kitchen sink, in the end, they see it, or in the beginning, they see a lot of progress to start. Once they start, you know, maybe even getting a quarter of the way through, halfway through, the progress stops. The reason why is because their body has adapted to the extremes in the beginning, and there's like almost nowhere else to go. That's why a lot of guys that I know personally, what they'll do is they'll start their diets even for shows and things like that, very low calorie. Whereas when I diet, I start very high calorie, but fairly clean. So that if I start at 4,000 calories, by the time I'm, you know, at the 12th week or whatever, I'm almost like done my diet or I'm all shredded and everything, I'm still at like 2,400 calories a day. So I'm not like borderline death, right? Where I know some guys, because they start so low to see gains so fast, by the time they're done their diet or at the end of their diet, they're at 4 cans of tuna a day and that's it. And the next thing you know, they're in the fucking hospital or whatever, right? So don't start with don't start balls to the wall. Start very gradual. You know, understand understand, you know, the goals that you are able to accomplish, you know, set realistic expectations and slowly start. Especially if this is new for you, you need to slowly start. Yeah. Just simply, I've seen people experience dramatic changes by simply taking out things like pop, even just candy, popping candy, any kind of refined sugar, any kind of sugary type products, ice cream, like any of that kind of shit, just take that out and see what happens. I bet you people, because what a lot of people don't actually realize is, number one, it's super high in sugar. And number two, every gram of carbs that you consume also takes a considerable amount of water. But that's why a lot of people, when they have a lot of carbs, they feel bloated. It's because carbs need water as well. And they bring water, right? Mm-hmm. They just almost like they saturate your body. I can't remember the science behind it, but that's why typically a lot of times when people will actually stop drinking or stop consuming a ton of like refined sugar, they start dropping a lot of water.
Right.
Because water just, it latches on the carbs that you consume. Mm-hmm. Okay, so number 5, weigh yourself once a week, only in the morning, the same time, same day, each week to gauge your progress.
After a bowel movement.
After a bowel movement, yes. Preferably in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the reason why you want to do this is because you're going to experience very little movement on the scale every day. You know, I'm also, you know, fall victim to this. I'll, you know, jump on the scale here and there.
Yeah. And, then, you know, and you'll see those like fluctuations on a day-to-day basis.
You will see fluctuations on a day-to-day basis, but you will see obviously way less fluctuations on, you know, for example, I do mine on a Sunday morning after I go to the bathroom every Sunday morning, every week. That's the best way to track progress, not every day, and use the same scale. It's important. Not every scale is equal.
Yeah.
Use the exact same scale every week. That's very important. Number 6, track your progress. It's very important to track your progress, even in...
And so would you say progress just specifically related to like measurements, or like what would you say in terms of like what would you do to track
I would
progress?
say for sure weight.
Yeah.
I would say for sure what you look like in the mirror, you know, at least once a week. Take a picture once a week. So after you weigh yourself, take a picture. I'm not a big fan of the measurement stuff. I don't care so much of like how big things are or how small things are.
I think it's more of like a female focused thing.
For sure. But if you're looking better in the mirror, I don't feel like it's necessary to, if you're looking better in the mirror and if your goal is to lose weight and your weight is dropping, I don't feel like you need to measure. Right. And also track I feel like tracking your fitness so that you're always progressively overloading yourself. Right. So you're always progressing. I think
that the performance in your workouts is getting better each week as well.
Exactly. Yeah. Because if it's not, you know, if you're not tracking that, are you regressing? Are you progressing? Are you staying stagnant? You don't really know. So I think I feel like if you're really serious, you know, are you increasing the amount of steps you're doing every day?
Yeah.
Are you increasing the amount of, cardiovascular activity that you're doing every day? Like all these things are important. If you're seriously hungry about attaining your goal in fitness, you know, how are you going to get there? You have to progressively, increase whatever you're doing. And finally, hold yourself accountable.
Yeah.
So I think that's extremely important. I mean, one of the ways that I do it is I put myself out there on social media and I tell people I'm going to do it. And, you know, I've done it a couple times where I was like, you know what? It's not the time right now, this and that, but you know, whatever, we all fall off sometimes here and there. But if you actually put yourself out there and allow yourself to be held accountable also from other people, when you don't accomplish your goal or you fall off or you don't do something or whatever, you know, I want people to make me feel stupid. I want to look stupid. Because I don't want that feeling, I will do it, you know? So this point on, yes, I'm going to do it. So putting myself out there, I am going to get ripped. What's today? Midway through January?
January 17th.
January 17th. Yeah. So I'm going to give myself about 16 weeks to do it. So what is that? Mid-May, we're going to be doing a reveal.
Just in time for pool season.
Exactly. Like this is what, and a lot of people don't actually realize that it takes that long. Even for me, who's, you know, I know what I'm doing. I don't have like, I'm not an endomorph where I easily store body fat. You know, I'm getting older and everything. So it's not as easy for me, but you know, when I say older, I mean older. I'm not that old, but it's, look at Jesse's looking over like, are you sure? Yeah, it takes this long, you know, to actually like, you know, change your body in the right way. It takes this long, 16 weeks for sure. Even that 12-weeker, you know, from the thumbnail on the video here, that was a grind. That's not easy to do. And it's not easy to do natural. I was natural for that.
Yeah.
So, and I'm going to do natural for this too. So, you know, obviously drugs help, obviously, but at the end of the day, it's just not something I'm willing to do. Yeah. So, and, you know, I take pride in the fact that, you know, I've done that naturally. So, that's what I would recommend to people too, is hold yourself accountable. Tell people your goals, put your goals out there. And it just allows people to feel accountable as well. So those are the 7 things that I do when I'm trying to accomplish my goals. And I want people to see that, you know, I use them as well for 2022.
Very nice.